Oh, welcome to Halling with Hallgrim, the 12th time, and today it's the first time we moved it to YouTube, and I'm quite excited to see how I can connect with you here at YouTube, and please leave comments for any questions on what we are doing or any kind of tips or advices. And you're also free to follow our youtube.com/FRIKAR, or we are also called @FRIKAR on Instagram and Facebook as well. So today's session is inspired by petroglyphs and other archaeological findings from the Bronze Era. A little bit from the Stone Age, a little bit from the Iron Age, but most from the Bronze Era. And yeah, in 2021 I am doing this kind of a journey back in time to see what can I learn from dance before the scripture was an idea, and why did they dance during the Bronze Era? There are a lot of petroglyphs, especially in Scandinavia, showing dancing with or without weapons. And when did they dance, or why did they dance, is something that I want to investigate in 2021 together with archaeologists and also dancers. So I want to invite you into this journey, follow some vlogs, some live sessions, and if you want to be part of this kind of movement. So today I would like to go through some images first to get some inspiration of concrete positions of dancing from the Bronze Era, which the Iron Age in Scandinavia is supposed to start around 500 before Christ. So earlier than that was a long period, about 1500 years of the Bronze Era, depending on how you define it. But the thing is that they went from using rocks to tools and weapons to bronze. And even music instruments of bronze they probably had. So for this class it's free, you don't need anything, you don't need dancing shoes either. So just follow the warm-up, and then I hope you can join some of the movements. And then I will add some images here and show you some old petroglyphs from we are beginning in the Stone Age actually. Okay, so let's see if we have an image. Yes, we have. And the first image here is not the oldest one actually, but it's showing a music instrument in the middle there. You have some drums, hand drums. You see the two middle persons there, and then you have a lot of dancers in this boat found in Alta from the Stone Age. And here now we are in South Sweden and around the Tanum, and on the left side you have a woman with a ponytail, and the other two probably men, they are blowing this kind of horn. If it's made of bronze, we don't know, it could be made of animal horns as well. And then we go back to Alta, to the Stone Age, and you see also a drummer down there. And on the left side, upper left, second left there, one probably dancing with a bone or a stick or something. Here is probably a shaman. Archaeologist Knut Helskog has written about this, and it's probably a shaman or one dancer which are starting to shape-shift into an animal. Maybe a moose head you can see there. So then we have something that some archaeologists think of this as probably a birth. You see this hip bones which are quite exaggerated, but it could also be kind of this dancing move which is very much used in holding dance, or this which is more simpler. So let's get back to the images. Here we have some other Stone Age images from the north. Back to this very interesting image from the boat. The boat is supposed to be kind of an image for a transfer from one world to another. And you see the dancers. The dancer at the left you can study. You can see it's not really in balance. It's which I would suggest is this movement, but maybe in a turn. It could of course be kind of this movement as well, which we are using today in the holding dancing. And here we have some kruking from petroglyphs in the southern Sweden. On the left boat you see kruking, and on the right side maybe I would suggest maybe turning. Like if you go to South Turkey in the Sufi tradition, they use one hand to the sun and one hand down. So let the energy of the sun kind of stream through your body and down to earth. So they are kind of turning like that. And you also see that their knees are bent like this, which a lot of archaeologists use as a kind of argument for or a statement for dancing. So let's go back. Then on the left side you see this kruking, and kruking is a really important part of our holding dance tradition today. Here it's done with an oar or a staff. Woo! And it's a hard movement to stand statically, so it's probably in movement as you see. And then we have more kruking on petroglyphs. We are moving to Norway, southern Norway, and you can see this Bronze Era petroglyph with a lot of calligraphic quality. You see the legs are exaggerated, so probably they were important. And so much movement in this this figure. I would kind of think that he was in or her was in movement like this. Okay. So then we go into the acrobatics of the Bronze Era, and here it's drawn in a way that you could think that this handspring or FRIKAR X is made with a twist, or it could be just be to make clear that it is a human being. Here we have another kind of acrobatic move with a drummer on the right side. This dancer is much much bigger than the other persons there, which archaeologists argue that is a kind of a tool that the artists used to enhance the importance of a person or a character. And but of course it could also be something holy that is flying, leaving the earth, but I would suggest it's a backflip or a handspring. So if we go into that world, we have a handspring, which is so much used in the holding dance today. Yeah, you can do it with 2 hands, or you could even do it with 1 hand. Okay. So, and it could of course be FRIKAR, which is the other round. So, but yeah, there are also found sculpture figures in Denmark, which is kind of standing on the surface, which someone have thought might be standing in a bridge, but it's standing on straight fingers, which is kind of impossible. So it's probably in movement as well. So then we go to some weapon dancers. We have maybe the sun on the left side, and which was probably the most important god at the time. We don't know so much about it, but archaeologists are guessing and following kind of leads from the Norse mythology, which is a bit written about through the Iron Age, and like the last 20-25 years, archaeologists have followed much more like a continuity of symbols and beliefs through Bronze Era and Iron Age. You can see the 2 dancers, or maybe let's say the dancers on the right side, the 2 ones. They have a tail, which is a lot used to kind of suggest that these dancers are they are shape-shifting, shifting into a kind of animal. Here are some other examples with axe and with spear and horns also, you can see. And the horns are usually argued from the archaeologists to be kind of a symbol of shape-shifting again, that they incorporated the power of the animal. So let's go back to the images. And here we have a much bigger person on the right side, probably maybe kind of introducing a ritual to the left one. Some archaeologists argue again. Here we have this sculpture from Grevensvinge in Denmark, which I talked about. I think it's in a handspring, a backflip, or a flick-flack. And because it's so hard to stand on your finger tips in this way. You also see this height difference between the fingers and the legs. But it's telling, at least for me, I feel that it's telling us that acrobatics was a kind of important part of the movement culture at the time. So let's go back to the images, some jumping. If you see the left one there, let's say he is jumping in this way, which is so much used in the Halling dance today. And here we have some really interesting body positions. Almost look like they are old, and they have a lot of character. Maybe quite some movement there as well. So we have this kind of they're using the stick maybe to make a sound, we don't know, but I find it really interesting. So let's go back to the images again, and here is a very much discussed character from Sweden, suggested by archaeologists to have a swan or a bird like head, and then you see bent knees, a bit laid back torso, almost like this. Yeah. And it's described as a dancing god. And again, kind of an animistic transformation from human to animal. And yeah, you are free to leave me comments during the session. We are soon starting to dance, and you can give write questions as well in the chat. But here you can see the gallerhus horns, which on the top have some warrior dancers with horns, very close to the Sutton Hoe. And now we are actually in the Iron Age. Snake, horse warriors. And on the downside here, below there, you see a dancer which is so much having Halling style. And one of the first things that you learn in Halling is to kick your hand, like that. So we use it in different ways in dancing. Okay. And here is some drawings from the same horn. And on the right side you actually have kind of a star stretching figure. It could of course be an animal skin, but it has a head on the top. So it might be similar to this position. Yeps. And then we have some really famous images here from Torslunda in Sweden. And on the left side below you see it's suggested Odin, the god, the Norse god, with a spear and horns, and kind of bear dancer or a berserker on the right side of him. Here is a close-up, and here is another image from the Iron Age. It's also interpreted by archaeologists as Odin. And you can also see a tail of many dots, which is suggested to be a wolf tail. And you have this kind of wolf, like Harald Hårfagre, said to be first king of Norway. He had some special elite soldiers, which were called berserk, and actually their name in the military of Harald Hårfagre was Ulfhedin, which means that they were using wolf clothes. So let's go back to him, and you also can see some arrows on the right side, kind of in a turn. It's really difficult to understand why a spear should be so turned. So maybe it's just that this movement is turning. Hey! Hup! So we go further. Here we have some knee crooking. Again from Sweden, this one, and this kind of movement. In the Halling dance, we have this kind of movement. So this is just with a bit of a torso twist. And then we have the Sutton Hoe recreation. Maybe you have seen the Dig film, cinema film from this winter, and we can look into one of the findings in that dig, archaeologist dig, and you can see some dancers on the top here. And actually the wrist is not like this, as could be a warrior or in battle. The wrists are like that, which is kind of useless in the martial arts. So it has to be dancing in a way. And with the horns again. So then we have, this is from Sweden, and you have the plates that I showed you earlier. On the right side you have the bear dancer, and also Odin, the spear dancer. And that was it of the different images. I would like to do some little warm-up with you now, and then go back to practicing the positions that we saw and start to build a dance out of it. Are you ready for that? That's good. Then I will do just follow up with a little YouTube sound check for myself, so I know the sound is going okay. So you can grab a drink and go back to... Yeah, then I know I have a sound, so I'm quite happy about that. And let's find some music. I actually have a Spotify playlist on Hallgrim Hansegård, and it's I will add it in the post after the class. And it's different kind of Viking music which are good for halling dancing. And someone of you might ask, what is halling dance? I grew up near Jotunheimen, the highest mountains of Norway, and in this Valdres area there is a lot of halling dancing. So it was pretty fun to grow up with a so free dance style, which is a soloist dance style. You might dance it together with a lot of others. There's a lot of acrobatics, footwork, musicality, and so on in the dance. It has turning, rolling, jumping, footwork, acrobatics, and yeah. So it has been a lot of that dancing since the 1600s, as we know from written sources. And then you find the same movements in the Viking time, the Bronze Age, and also the Iron Age. And so it's a long living tradition. So then I will add some music, and you are free to join me for a solkvedja, which is Norse for sun salutation. It's a good kind of warm-up for this kind of dancing. So I will add some music to that. It's drums and bronze horn, which might have been kind of the music as we saw on the petroglyphs. And of course, in this session you should also remember that we will never know how we danced in the Bronze Age, but we can just follow tracks, suggest, and kind of have fun with recycling a little bit and renew what we can find. So, make your stand, grasp the floor with your toes, grab your axe, breathe in, hip forward, breathe in, breathe out. 3 of these, and then we go to the right, around the head, and we go down on the knee with the axe. Make 3 of these. 2. And that was the last one. Then we go through with the right knee into this position. And if you see here, I'm still holding the axe and I'm pushing the knee. And you are also free to stretch in other ways if you need to. Breathe as you want. Then we go half round back, and we go into a half moon position. Breathe in and breathe out. And then an old sport game from Valdres. We are drinking from the earth, or from the Mimis Brunner. Spread your wings. And we turn around towards the right with the sun. Okay. So now I have my right leg in front, stretched. I take my right hand down on the left side of the foot, and I breathe in, and I try to grab the toes and do some stretching here. My right elbow can push down on the thigh, so I get more stretch. And I hope you enjoy this music by Vardruna. Okay, so now we go to the right side over the stretched leg and into this bear dancing position. Bear dancing, this one is an old tradition from Norway. Let's do it together. 9 times. 1, 2. Okay, we go up into the mountain top. We roll up with the heels, and we make a ripple wave through the back and breathe out. And we push up into the mountain again, and we take 2 more rolls. Heels up, roll through the back. 1 more. Breathe in, ripple, breathe out. Last push up, and the right leg up, and place it between your hands. Okay, that's good. And right hand, or both hands around the axe. Breathe in, hip forward, and breathe out. We go up, we breathe in, and we sink down into the Migisbrunner, the well of wisdom from Norse mythology. Here you can of course use your hands to spare your thighs or your knees. Okay, so the left leg is behind. We spread our wings, we turn countersum, or counterclockwise, and that's good. So left leg is now stretched, left hand down on the right side of it. Breathe in, grab your left leg, left elbow, pushing down the thigh, and stretch. Breathe as you want. Okay, so we move forward and clockwise with the sun. Here I take my left knee through this window. I sit down, take my axe, and left elbow to the right knee, and I stretch a bit. And then we start to try to twist up, like this. Left over the head and ikruking. Right, left, breathe in up, breathe out down. Last time. And then 3 frontal. Okay, so in Halling with Hallgrim, this was the first time we did this solkvedja, and we will do it every time in the future once, so you will get more and more used to it. So, then we are ready for some dancing, aren't we? We went through some positions earlier from the images. We have seen this kind of movement. We have also seen this kind of movement. Yes, that's good. Knekruking used also today. And then we saw this kind of Odin dancing. So left, one way of interpreting that image, I will show you now. And of course, nothing is written in stone, only in the petroglyphs. So, this is kind of similar to this movement. So, right leg up behind the left leg, and then left leg in front of the right leg. Let's try it together. And you can use kind of the dynamics in the leg here to kind of reduce the tempo down to the earth, to feel this kind of energy from the ground. And I use the hands in diagonal, like when walking. And I still do this, so they are opposing what I do with the legs. Okay, so then we had also flat stand, kicking the hand. Yeah, try to use it with a whip effect. So retain a little bit the breath and let it go. Yes. Left hand, left leg, or the opposite. And you can also cross. And also in frontal. Okay, we have other kind of kicks also in the Hallgrim dance, which we're not seeing so much in the petroglyphs, like this. But as we know, in the Bronze Age, war and battle was becoming more and more important. Then I would suggest that kicking was also an important movement to practice. So let's include some kicking today. Okay. And then we have the Tanum, the woman from Tanum, which with raised hands, kind of bent body here, torso, and also bent knees. And she's looking a bit, she's not like that, she's looking upwards. Maybe like in the rave party. Maybe turning. Yeah. And there was like bronze or bone-based horns with two musicians, and she was standing towards them, so probably not turning. Okay. Then we also saw some jumps down to a boat, like this. Would you like to try that? I like to kind of use the hands here to raise up and then meet the legs behind. Yes. And then we had this movement, which might have been a birth, because it was quite broad, but let's try. In Hallgrim dance is more used to collect the hands here and spread your seats with the hands. And we also had on a boat from the Stone Age this kind of movement. 1, 2, 1, 2. Which could also have been this rebnetak. So it's the legs are going in an 8. So this is not in 8. Well, there are two variations which we could suggest are kind of answering on the petroglyph. So that were some of the movements. And then the most famous one is the kruking, which you can see on the boat from both Oslo and North Norway. And you can rest both legs on the ground if you want, like this, or you could lift it like that. And it's really important in that movement for your own health to not sit down like when you do your thing in the forest. It's more like looking forward, being straight. So the reaction force you get from the earth goes straight to the heels, to the Achilles, to the butt, and up. And you get a lot of free energy. Yeah. You can practice like this. Practice the preciseness. And then you can do the thing. Yes. Let's also practice the handspring. Then some of you will feel that it's a bit risky. Then I suggest try worst case scenario. How bad can you feel or hurt yourself if it's not going well? Let me try not doing it well. So I just have straight arms so I don't knock my head. Oh. Yes. So not a big deal. Let's try it now to push with the shoulders and send the legs as quick as possible over. And you see also I try to be straight legs. So, straight legs, not bent legs. Like this was bent legs. So if you have any questions about this, please write me a comment now. I will try to catch it up. Oh, thank you. It's a nice comment here. Cool. And just write me questions also if you have any. So, then we will go further to do some dancing together. Are you ready for that? Let's just walk. This experimental rhythm. Let's just follow the beat from the drums. Right leg behind, left ahead. You can also use the arms in diagonal. Let's kick with the hand. Let's try the 8 rep attack. And let's look at the sun. Relax in the neck. Let the music take you. Go down. And with half turn. Go back to the start. Left ahead, right behind. Let's jump, kicking both hands. Oh! Wasn't that amazing music by Vardruna? How much you can get of some drums and some horns and so on. So, which I find quite interesting and inspiring, how much richdom you can find in little material. So, without a lot of different dance techniques, just get some inspiration from this old stance. And of course I have my background from Halling dance, which I want to share with you here at youtube.com/frikar every Tuesday ahead now. And maybe you can incorporate it in your own dancing, or maybe you really want to learn Halling dance. So please follow us at this channel, and write me any comments or questions about the techniques that I showed you now. In the end, I had one fish jump. It's this kind of, if you use the hands in the ground, it looks like this. And if you freeze that, it could be one of this kind of suggested handsprings on the boat in southern Sweden. So I would also pick that tool also in the toolbox of Bronze Age dancing. So let's have a last dancing now. We went through the different stances or positions of the petroglyphs. Now I would challenge you to feel free and to mix them as you want, or just to repeat one movement all the time and feel different qualities in it. But let's also kind of reflect upon why we are dancing, and why did we dance in the Bronze Age. It's like if we see the symbols, the use of symbols, the sun, which often are drawn in different circles around each other, is kind of a really important cult there. And also some dancers look up, like maybe up at the sun. And also in our language today, when I learned to dance Halling dance, my masters, they told me to dance, for example, motsols, which is a Norwegian for counter sun. So we don't say clockwise and anti-clockwise in Norwegian. We say medsols with the sun and motsols against the sun. So which is kind of makes more sense to me, because I could do a turn like this, and it's going counter sun. Nobody would doubt that. But if I did the same thing on my head, like spinning on my head, I can try to show that now. Then from my perspective, now I'm actually going clockwise. But from this perspective, it's anti-clockwise. But both directions would be counter sun. So let's leave this modern language and go back in style and follow the sun a bit more, should we? So, and then there are a lot of things that we will never know of the dancing from the Bronze Age, like rhythm, small details in the movement. Yeah, how loose were they? We can see a bit some standing in relaxed or laid back positions, which I suggest is clearly movement and also laid back positions, and not this kind of institutionalized form. Yeah? So now I challenge you to just feel the music and add details, ornaments, whatever you want, but at least follow a little bit the sun, the music, and your heart. So I will add some music. We dance as we want. and then it's bye-bye. Okay. So thank you so much for this session. I'm glad you followed, and thank you so much if you want to share it with some of your friends and help us spread this old heritage from Scandinavia. And on a Friday we have this Viking workout every Friday 9:30. Every Tuesday we have this hulling session at 6 p.m. So and please push the following button on facebook.com/frikar and instagram.com/frikar, and also here on youtube.com/frikar. And follow up with some suggestions for the next sessions. What are you interested in? Is there something that you would like to discuss, or something that you would challenge me to make or to do? So please leave a comment. Have a good week.